It's the second semi-final just underway here at the World Open Snooker. Junhui against Neil Robertson for a place in the title match tomorrow and a meeting with Judd Trump, conqueror earlier of Jackson Page. 6-2. This is their 16th meeting. Robertson having won 9 of the previous 6, including the most recent 4 encounters. Once again, he's left a long red for Robertson.
You feel he can't afford to be catching ball colours, leaving Neil with his hand on the table. However, the black is far from ideal. That's why he's looking at playing a different option. If the black was available, I'm sure he'd play the red to left corner. Seems to be a new cloth put on for the semi-finals, so it might take a little bit of adjusting for both players. Can be a little bit responsive, the bed of it, but also off the cushions. Can play a little bit slower, trap a fraction. So it might take just a frame or two to judge the pace. Again, worked out well for Neil there, being short of pace, leaving Ding hampered. Even the safety shot he's looking at from the side cushion, every chance of a double kiss. Portier doesn't try to do too much, just accept that he's in trouble. And hopefully make sure that Neil doesn't have a pot on the next time.
Oh dear, 4-ball kiss on the red was certainly not what Junhui wanted, so another opportunity for Neil Robertson, a rather more presentable one this time though. Something just distracting him in his eye line there. Both of these players have won this tournament before. In fact, Robertson won the inaugural version back in 2010, the year he won the World Championship when he beat Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final. Ding winning here in Yushan in 2017.
1.
So, first blood to Neil Robertson, who of course returned home for a family break to Melbourne before Christmas, missed a couple of tournaments in the process to try and recharge the batteries. Certainly there are indications that that was a smart move.
Yeah, maybe he's only now starting to feel the benefits of that decision.
7.
Of course, building up lovely to the World Championship. Might just have the perfect balance between being in form but also fresh.
8.
So is the danger in having such a good season that come the World Championships, you mightn't have too much left. Nice problems to have, of course, but we have seen the favourites or player of the season many times go out early in the World Championships.
And Neil Robertson has been that player, hasn't he, on more than one occasion. Lost out last year to Jack Jones. He was well beaten by the Welshman in the second round. Having played some exceptional snooker in the first against Wu Yiza, he made a couple of 1-4-6 breaks.
15.
But so often Robertson has arrived at the Crucible expected to challenge for his second world title, and it's not worked out. So maybe perversely this season,
16.
having not featured at all in the sharp end of events until now, could be the one when he returns to his very best form. I think those players who are guaranteed a seeding at the Crucible will be rooting for him this weekend, Virgil.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in the qualifying, if he doesn't win this tournament, of course he has to qualify. Nobody's going to want to play Neil in those qualifiers either. However, on the other side, there's no guarantee that Neil will get through. He'd have to win 2 matches in the English Institute of Sport.
$24.
A few years ago, he did, of course, slip out of the top 16 again, missed the Masters. That seemed to galvanise him on the very next tournament. Again, it was noticeable yesterday in his match against Barry Hawkins. Right from the start, when he made a century. His focus was exemplary.
He's always been a hard worker at the game, but maybe by his very high standards of discipline off the table, he slacked off a little, and that contributed some early exits in tournaments. And then, of course, that affects your confidence, and it becomes a there. But he's clearly been putting in a lot of work in his bid to recapture former glories, and this week it's all clicked for him. And this is a great chance to take the opening frame. Prolific scorer, as we know, the first player to make a century of centuries in a single season, since emulated by the guy he's hoping to play in the final tomorrow, Judd Trump. Oh, hang on, hang on. No, he's overcut it. Well, we've talked about these corner pockets being on the generous side, but they're not that generous. So that's a surprising error from Robertson when he was looking good for 1-0.
Yeah, he'll be horrified with that miss. It literally came out of nowhere.
Mobile phone at a very inopportune moment, but as mentioned earlier, Ding seems to have been impervious to any outside distractions this week. He's looked as focused, as determined as I've seen him for many a season. Maybe a little riled by the fact that it's been so long since he won a ranking tournament. He did win the 6 Reds World Championship last season, but in terms of a big ranking event, well over 4 years now. But it's been this sort of opportunity that he's been taking regularly this week, punishing his opponent's mistakes, and this would be a great way to start the semi-final for him if he could do that here.
Yeah, and he'll be well aware of that. I'm sure when he was
14.
Sat in his chair, he just presumed Neil would make enough to win the frame. The way both players are playing, he feels it's going to be a match of small margins. Very few mistakes. So when they are made, you feel you're going to have to capitalise on them. It's best of 11, of course, today, but the first frame of the board, particularly then if it feels like you've stolen from your opponent. Again, similar to Neil, Ding's focus this week has been fantastic. Hasn't looked like missing at all.
Yes, on the face of it, it looked like a really tough battle in the offing against Hossein Vafai. He was still on a high, of course, from having beaten Ronnie O'Sullivan in such dramatic fashion on the final black, but turned out to be strictly one way in Ding's favour, 5-0.
23.
All sorts of mobile phones going off.
At least today, also down to one table, whereas early on in the week when the both tables, various different matches, there was distractions. Players had to get up off the shot and wait.
28.
Because of the noise of the table. And referees were kept busy.
29.
That's not the issue now. All the eyes are on one table. And he certainly seems to have thrived on the responsibility and pressure of being China's best player and being China's last hope in this event.
And I'm sure at times in his career that's been a burden, when he was younger in particular. So much expectation every time he walked to the table. Not easy to handle. The game's difficult enough as it is. We've seen evidence of that again this week. There were thousands of people on the streets in Yushan watching Ding, who couldn't get into the arena, on a giant screen while he was beating Vafai. Crowded watching their man do the business. And he's had that his entire career.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's over there and being in his company. Literally like a rock star. The treatment and demands put on him. But again, he's a great ambassador for the games. Always, if it has ever affected him, we've never seen that. Always accepted with grace and class. Again,
43.
for those reasons, we would love to see him become world champion. Not just for him, but also the game's obviously very popular in China, but you can only imagine if they had a world champion, particularly Ding, the effect that would have, not just in the short term, but the long term. Still has time, of course, Ding.
Well, he does. That's the point, isn't it? He's still only 36. And the way he's playing this week, well, it's not a bad way
48.
to be heading into the World Championship. But of course, he won't be thinking about that right now. It's all about today's semi-final against a very tough opponent. This is a little tester on the stretch. Nicely done, right in the middle.
56.
Not much more to do then. Final red appears to be the only obstacle. 18 the lead, 25 with the black, so any colour off that red and it'll be 1-0 Ding. But that isn't the cannon he wanted. So a reprieve it would appear for Neil Robertson. You can hear the deflation in the audience, can't you, as that break came to a slightly premature conclusion from Ding Junhui.
请大家保持安静，保持安静，谢谢。
So, a very tight opening frame. Robertson was in, looked good for 1-0, missed surprisingly into the left corner with his attempted red on 39. Ding has had the chance to steal, but didn't get on the final red. His first frame still up for grabs.
Yeah, Ding actually had an opportunity to play a better safety than he did. I don't know whether he carried a little bit of disappointment from the previous shot. Certainly shouldn't have hit one of the ball colours, and Neil certainly shouldn't have hit the black. Quite fortunate in hitting the black to get away with it. Again, Ding is a second chance.
And then it goes. Any colour will do. Well, couldn't have landed much more awkwardly, could it? But in goes the green.
Yeah, wasn't concerned with any sort of position. Knew by playing it dead weight would make the pot a little bit harder. Just make sure you pot it. Neil obviously needs a snooker. He'll be aware it's only one snooker. The balls are in good positions. Anytime the black, obviously it's the green in this case, but anytime you feel the black is on its spot when you need a snooker, you always feel it's quite a big target. Players are very good at manoeuvring the white around to get it behind it. Simple but clever shot there.
Always awkward when the object ball, when you're snookered, is out in the open with loads of room around it. Makes it that much more missable, of course. And if Robertson does miss it, he'll need 2 snookers.
Foul. Junhui 4.
Just checking to see if it's a free ball.
Green.
And it is, so the green becomes an extra yellow. And if this goes in, the frame is surely over. And it's a big frame for Ding to win, because Neil Robertson will feel he certainly should have won it. He was in, he was looking good on a break of 39. Inexplicably, really, Mr. Red. And it's come back to bite him.
Junhui 2.
Despite the free ball and only 2 points for putting the green there, 35 behind, still only needs 2 snookers. Like I said, the balls are in quite good positions, but also I think the fact that it's the very first frame, still unlikely Neil will get those snookers, but it is giving a bit more table time, settle down a little piece better. Get used to the pace of the table, the reaction off the cushions.
Consider the free.
But he's had enough, having left that yellow on. He needed 2 snookers to tie there, and it's Ding Junhui who takes a eventful opening frame in our second semi-final to lead 1-0. Frame 3, Neil Robertson having levelled up with a break of 68. At 1 frame all with Ding Junhui. Judd Trump to play the winner, of course, in the final on Sunday after his 6-2 victory earlier over Jackson Page. Trump will be appearing in his 8th final this season, going for his 5th ranking title. Neil Robertson is today appearing in his 50th ranking semi-final and hoping for a 37th final appearance.
It's actually the first time this week I've seen from the break-off that the black has been out of commission. Again, maybe the fact the new cloth table can play slightly different. Surprised actually Neil is not playing off the red beside the black. Get it in play. And there's been loads of centuries this week. Again, it's always a lot easier if right from the start of the frame the black is in play.
Yes, the one that Judd Trump made in the opening frame of his match with Page earlier was the 90th of the week. Prolific scoring throughout. Had a 147, of course, from Zach Shurty. We had a 146 as well from Barry Hawkins.
Yeah, phenomenal standard. One of the days there was 4 tables. There was 9 centuries in the first hour of play. Ridiculous standard.
Well, that's a Neil Robertson special, and there's no doubt that there is mounting evidence to suggest that he's getting back to his old self again. Yes, he's missed a couple in this semi-final, but when he's raking in those long pots, that's got to augur well. Now 42 years of age, Robertson, but of course he looks after himself very well. He works out regularly, adopts a very strict diet. Now he would love to become a multiple world champion. By his standards, he's underachieved at the Crucible since he won the title in 2010, beating Graham Dott in that epic final. Just one semi-final appearance. Seventh on the all-time list of ranking event winners with 23 titles.
Before we played that play, you could see he was just taking time out, just assessing the table, trying to work out a plan, plot his way round. Pink is available, which you may well have to rely on when he gets down that end of the table. Look, of course, to get the black into play as soon as possible, but can't make that his main priority. Still win the frame or break the back of the frame without it.
Love it.
Now I think just looking at the possibility and rolling this pink, can he leave the white in a certain position, pot the red to the right of the black, and just flick away the other red that's touching the black. Following Ronnie's lead there. The referee has to replace the balls, gone back to the chair to wait. Not sure it's possible to get the pink directly in line there. Still looked a little bit like to the left. But you can actually see from there that he has a perfect angle on that red, just to pot and screw back and just glance that red away.
Yes, it's got to be in a direct line with its own spot, which is why it's going as far back as it is. Can't be touching any of the other balls, obviously. So quite a job of work here for Junhui.
18.
Crowd acknowledging that nice little cannon to free up the black.
At the start of this little break, he's had to work hard, but now feels like he's in prime position. He's turned it into a very good chance. Still has to mind his work here with those couple of reds below and to the left of the black. Don't think the black is available into the left corner. Otherwise he'd play the black and play the red to the right corner. That's why those two reds are just a little bit of a problem for him. He'll be desperate to have a little bit of an angle here that he can stun out for the black.
26.
Of course, in potting this red, then the black is available to both pockets.
6.7.
Played that very well. It's quite tight, just about had enough of the putting angle. Also digging down. Perfect position now to play for that red. The bottom of the pack. He left himself low on it, so in putting this red, he'll be able to disturb
34.
more reds.
Oh dear.
Robertson 34. Junhui 4.
Cue ball seemed to really take off there. So a reprieve for Ding, 30 the difference.
Yeah, you wouldn't really describe that as unlucky going in off. He lost control of the cue ball. Ran the risk it could go in off. Again, as you said, a reprieve for Ding. Still good signs for Neil. The 3 frames, he has had the first opportunity. Hasn't totally capitalised, but you always want to have the first chance in each frame. You feel like the winning and losing the match is in your hands then.
Better safety from Ding this time, who has had a tendency so far in this match to leave Robertson a long red on more than one occasion. And that better safety has in turn created an error from Robertson, not getting the cue ball even back to the baulk line. So half a chance for Ding. Hasn't quite settled into this semi-final yet in the way that we've seen him in previous matches this week, when he's looked razor sharp all the way through. Managed to pinch the first frame, had a chance in the second which he couldn't take. Again, not the best safety from Robertson, but no major damage done.
Much better safety shot there from Ding. Neil again, not reaching the baulk line. Okay, kept the red safe, but didn't put Ding in any trouble. And Ding has capitalised on that. He has the advantage now. Quite difficult if he plays off the right-hand side of the pack to get back down the table. Various different reds to avoid. That's why he tried to swing the white ball around. But of course that bit of side he played pushed it in towards the red, caught it thicker. And quite fortunate he hasn't left Ding anything nicer than this. Very rare, I'm sure, that Neil would play 3 safety shots in a row. Wouldn't even reach the baulk line, let alone the baulk cushion. That's certainly something that's going to have to be improved as the match goes on. Taking a little bit of trouble here. Snooker on the red on the baulk cushion. There is this red available to the right corner, but difficult pot going into other reds. No guarantee of position.
Yeah, that was the problem, wasn't it? The pot, which is negotiated well, but no guarantee that it would lead to anything, and that's what's transpired.
Yeah, did the right thing though, didn't compromise the pot at all, trying to get perfect on the colour. His priority was to pot the red. He's still in control so long as he's at the table. Still not an easy position to be in. That's why he's walked down the table there, trying to find the ideal spot to leave the white for Neil. And also has to be mindful of that red close to the yellow corner. Sorry, the bottom left corner.
Blue ball.
Great putt there.
6.
Left himself with a tricky red along this ball cushion. It's always going to be difficult, particularly as he had to play with some pace to try and get away from that cushion.
Just about room to get through to this red. Again, a very clean pot from Robertson from distance. Already 25 in front, so an opportunity for a 2-1 lead.
A little bit easier this time to get the pink as close as you possibly can to its spot.
Seven. Eight. $15. 16.
At his best, Neil plays with great authority. Not quite the Sean Murphy stomp around the table. Still very brisk, business-like. And at his best, when he's playing that average shot time, 21, 22, 20 seconds, he's definitely at his best. There's been times over the years he's got himself bogged down, trying to be maybe a bit too perfect, trying to be in control too much. When he's trusting himself and in this flow,
31.
Very difficult to beat.
Frame ball then. And he's definitely looking the more composed of the two so far. Ding missed that awkward red along the bottom rail. Just overcut it into the yellow pocket. Left Robertson a long red, which he stroked in very nicely, and this is the result. Had it not been for the misread in the first frame, which really came out of the blue,
39.
he might have been 3-0 up. As it is, it's going to be 2-1 to Robertson. His bid for a first ranking final appearance for 2 years. He's just overcut that red, but it doesn't matter. Or at least you would think it doesn't matter. 63 the difference with only 51 left. Maybe Ding just wants a few shots, because since he pinched that opening frame, he's not quite looked himself.
Wow. Eight.
Nice pot, but nestling
Blue ball.
by the side of the pink doesn't help his cause. Yeah, I think Ding was just looking for a few shots there, maybe to try and re-establish a bit of rhythm, but it's Neil Robertson, having lost the opening frame in disappointing circumstances, who now leads 2-1. The final underway, Neil Robertson leading Ding Junhui 2-1, having lost the opening frame, and looking marginally the stronger of the two so far. Ding was able to pinch the first frame after Robertson surprisingly missed a red to the left corner. He missed another one in the second frame when he was in, Robertson, but this time Ding couldn't capitalise. And Ding took on a tough red along the bottom rail into the yellow pocket in frame 3, which he rattled. Robertson got him with a long red and did enough to win the frame. So 2-1. Robertson going for his 5th consecutive win over Ding Junhui. Most importantly for Robertson, the chance to play for the title. And of course, if he does lift the trophy tomorrow night, he will have transformed his season. He'll be in the top 12 in time for the Tour Championship in a couple of weeks' time. In Manchester, he'll also be guaranteed to be heading to the World Championship at the Crucible as a seeded player. Neither of those things are currently the case, so it's a very big weekend for him in more ways than one. You've got to go back to 2014, actually, for the last time Ding tasted victory over Robertson. That was here in China in the final of the China Open, which he won handsomely by 10 frames to 5. Robertson winning this season at the Shanghai Masters. That was a thriller, went the distance. That was the one bright spot for Neil Robertson before this tournament this season, really, because he made the semi-finals. Of course, that's an invitational event, won yet again by Ronnie O'Sullivan for the 5th time and the 4th time in succession. And of course, it's great to have snooker back in China, isn't it, Fergal, after the hiatus caused by the pandemic?
Absolutely, yeah. I think not just the people in China, but certainly the players really appreciate it. Maybe before COVID, it's slightly taken it for granted.
Okay, false free.
You used to hear the odd moans about the long haul travels and what was involved, but that certainly hasn't been the case this season. Really appreciated. Very lucky to have these opportunities.
So Ding breaking off in frame 4 of a possible 11. This frame before the mid-session break. Can he level up at 2-all and regroup in the mid-session? He looks a little off colour so far, Ding, compared with what we've seen all week. Difficult to improve on a 5-0 victory, of course, which he achieved against Hossein Vafai in the previous round. Yeah, terrific pot. That should make him feel a good deal better. Positionally could be better as well, but at least he struck first in this frame. As Fergal's pointed out, he's been playing catch-up in the others.
This is also probably the first time Ding has been tested really this week. Obviously, the tough match with Sean Murphy, 5-3, but started well and was more or less in control of that. Can't recall him being behind in any match this week. It's not just that he's behind, it's who he's behind too. And there's just been slight signs, a little bit frustrated.
5.
Another very good pot, but wanted the cue ball to travel a bit further. So just the safety.
Junhui 5.
Yeah, very well cued again from Robertson.
Yeah, Ding was tempted by that red into the right middle. Probably thought there might be a little bit of safety in it. The fact that white was going to be so close to the cushion, but Neil made that look very easy. Yeah, excellent shot there.
6.
Didn't quite catch the pink full in the face, but there's still enough power on it. You can see it here. Half ball contact, enough backspin to come off the cushion, go back into them. Again, all you're hoping for is that you've shot at a red.
Well, he very nearly overcompensated there, having overcut a couple of reds into that left corner. He came close to undercutting that one, but happily for Robertson, it's dropped. I'm sure that was in his mind, though, when he played that shot.
Oh, absolutely it was. You probably have a few more of them before the day's out as well. Not only does he open the reds lovely, but appears the black is available to the left corner.
9. 10.
Again, just coming down to have a look at his plan of attack. He'd love to get rid of that red that's to the right of the black. And if he's close enough to being straight on this red, he can just roll it through beyond the black.
13. Twenty.请把手机调成静音。
I think he's just coming down to have a look. See, is there position he can leave with the white on the black? It's going to make it easier to either disturb or play position for that red to the right of it. Could certainly win the frame without getting rid of that red, but would make it a bit easier. Again, depending on the angle, he could just pot the black and just stun up a fraction to be on that red.
21.
And that's exactly what he's looking at.
Eight. $29.
With the removal of that red, now becomes a fantastic chance.
And he's definitely been the stronger player so far, Neil Robertson. He might have won the first frame, perhaps should have done. But since that disappointment, he's bounced back with some good long potting. He's been occupying the table for most of the time. Ding can't
36.
quite get himself in at the moment. He's taken on a couple of awkward pots in a bid to make something happen, but it's not quite worked out for him. And he's now looking at a 3-1 deficit, and the first real challenge, as Fergal indicated just now, that he's had this week. He's played some fantastic stuff to get this far. Some of his best snooker of this, or indeed a number of recent seasons from him, but to beat an increasingly in-form Neil Robertson is another challenge altogether.
Again, perfect on the black here. And excellent execution as well.
51.
Again, that's numerous times in break building. He has been parallel with the black. And if you're in that position, it gives you such a range of options.
52.
Well, this is surely a formality now. It's going to be 3-1. And you would say that's a fair reflection of the play.
You feel after the break, Ding's going to have to play fantastic. You just don't see Neil coming back to him or dropping the standards.
$58.
First task, Ding. Each frames to try and get control. To put the first red in colour in this frame, but it wasn't really a great opportunity. And again, when Neil's had his opportunity, he's taken them, take this lead.
Yes, it's certainly not been glaring mistakes from Ding. One or two tough pots have eluded him, but Robertson's looked very sharp.
72.
His long potting is as good as ever, it seems. So he's creating chances for himself and he's taking them.
78.
Now eyeing another century, yet another one.
79. $85. 86.
One of only 4 players to have made in excess of 900 career centuries, Neil Robertson. Only Judd Trump, John Higgins, and of course Ronnie O'Sullivan ahead of him.
93.
Past the 900 mark this season. And he loves making them.
6.
In fact, he gets quite cross with himself when he fails to make one. Having secured the frame. No danger this time, though. That's his 8th of the week.
$105.
We've taken quite some time to see the return of Neil Robertson, but on this evidence, he's well and truly back. Brilliant stuff. A century clearance from Neil Robertson, the 933rd of his career. Just the 35th this season. But after a difficult campaign, it seems to be springing to life at just the right time. And he's in charge against Ding Junhui in our second semi-final here at the World Open. He leads at the break by 3 frames to 1. So the players are back and we're ready to go.
我们这边都能听得见，所以请大家一定要在选手击球的时候保持安静，好吗？好。
I presume that's a reminder about the mobile phones.
How is your Mandarin, Fergal?
Not good.
Yes, we've had quite a few mobile phones. Neil Robertson, though, 3-1 up, 3 away from the final. Judd Trump, of course, 6-2 victory earlier over Jackson Page. Robertson's brought a red up the table off the break. So here's an early chance, exactly what Ding needed on the resumption. That interval would have come at a good time for him. I think he needed just to regroup a little. Equally, Robertson would have probably preferred not to have an interval, having just knocked in a century break. That was nicely controlled. So Ding in first in this one. What can he make of this opportunity?
It's similar to the very first frame of a match. When you go back after the interval, you break off, to settle back in. Sometimes you don't give it the same level of concentration and application as you do other shots. It could prove costly. It's always annoying when you give your opponent a chance he hasn't had to work. But yeah, you just felt that interval was needed for Ding just to mentally regroup, refocus.
It's not as though he's played badly, as mentioned. It's just that he's not quite been able to get in and do the damage that he has been throughout the week. But here's a chance to rectify that. But that's gone wrong immediately. He will not be happy with that one. Hasn't got into the cue ball anything like as much as he needed to.
Yeah, by far the worst shot he's played the week. Cued it very badly. Just totally lost his timing on it. Any reaction from the white. And little things like that can hurt your confidence.
Green ball.
Well, there's some pressure on this one. Very nicely played. One of his worst shots of the week, followed by probably his best of the day.
Yeah, brilliant recovery. And again, absolutely no compromise in the pot.
That had to go, otherwise he could have been looking at another big Robertson break and a 4-1 deficit. So he's shown a bit of bottle there, Ding. Maybe some anger as well, vented in knocking that green in, running out of position as he did. And he has been cueing quite brilliantly all week. The usual cue ball control for which he is renowned has been on show in every match. Made a 64 in the opening frame here, which didn't quite get him over the line, but only 24 points in the 3 frames that followed.
$19.
Again, with the possible exception of when he played Sean Murphy, he's been favoured, or strong favoured, going into every match. Probably call this one even money going into today's start. And again,
Wow.
Junhui 19.
out of nowhere.
That is extraordinary.
And as I was talking about, whatever about those misses, about missing those against other players less experienced, I feel against Neil they're going to be very costly.
One.
And just looking at the pack there to go into them, disturb them, screw back, still be on that red, the same pocket as the black's going to go in.
And Robertson will know he can really break the back of this match if he can punish that glaring error on the pink just now from Ding.
9.
Get himself within 2, get himself 3 clear. That's a long way back for Ding. And this will really hurt, because having played such a great recovery shot on the green, to then miss the pink as he did, sort of error we have certainly not seen from him this week.
60.
And it could be a very expensive one.
17.
Good angle again on the black. I'm sure he'll go into them. Again, didn't go in with too much pace. Stunned into them. But Run has come out there, as you can see. We're able to play it into the middle. And just got to make sure he just leaves himself a nice angle on the blue to come down. If he does that, it becomes a great chance.
Yeah, I think he knew as soon as he hit it
Robertson 24.
that he hit it high, and he's furious because he knows that that was a golden chance to take a firm grip on the match. Well, maybe he was distracted by either sound or some movement in the audience. He looks pretty unhappy, but what a let-off for Ding Junhui that is. This is a big moment in this match now.
Yeah, absolutely. What looked like Neil capitalising on 1. Chance here for Ding.
He's really got to steel himself now, Ding. That pink was a big mistake and looked very likely to cost him the frame, but
8.
now he has the chance again with the red spread to close to within 1 frame, and he's back in the contest. You could see the fury in Robertson's face.
Yeah, judging by his reaction, I feel sure there was some disturbance in the crowd. Very unusual to see Neil that annoyed. Again, part of the annoyance is the chance he'd left Ding. And the only thing better than winning a frame in one visit is if your opponent has a
60.
chance, misses something simple, and then you can win the frame. Just now that hurts your opponent even more.
17.
Well, frankly, it would have been hard to see a way back into this match for Ding had Robertson cleared up there after Ding missed the pink as he did.
24.
Would have been a crushing blow to his chances, but he can put all of that behind him now if he can make the most of this chance.
25. Certain. 31.
Going to need a couple more reds. To close the gap to 1.
So 7.
Yeah, you feel Ding needs this. Looked like he was going to go forward and down. He was on the ropes. Match was getting away from him.
Put him 40 in front with 35 left. Robertson would need 2 snookers if this red goes in.
Of course, Ding's not going to be lacking support. He's coming back.
No heroics on the red, just make sure of it, which was the sensible thing to do. So Robertson requiring 2 snookers. What a big frame this is for Ding Junhui. Looked as though he'd blown it when he missed the pink. Robertson perhaps disturbed by some movement in the crowd, then missed the red to the right centre. You saw his reaction, he was furious, but looks like it has cost him. Not only this frame, but a commanding 4-1 lead in the match, with Ding feeling thoroughly fed up having missed the pink, but now the pink doesn't matter. Robertson, who needs the snookers. He's snookered himself. And he's caught the black. That surely ends the frame.
Junhui 7.
Robertson nods his head. A dramatic frame, potentially vital one in this semi-final. The match seemingly getting away from Ding when he missed the pink, but Robertson missed the red, and it's 3-2. Plenty of drama in frame 5, and it's gone the way of Ding Junhui, crucially from his point of view, when it looked likely that Neil Robertson was going to convert a 4-1 lead, only to miss the red to the right centre, perhaps distracted by some movement in the crowd. He certainly looked angry. But Ding crucially managing to make the most of that reprieve to keep in touch. 3-2, 6 is the target.
Better break from Ding this time. Hasn't left red for Neil to have a go at. I think just coming down to have a look at the potting angle on this end red. It was going to be quite thin to pot it, and actually hit it too thin. And again, I think he more played it as a pot rather than a shot to nothing. He couldn't really look upon that shot as a chance to get in. Most important thing was to play a good safety shot.
A very crisp pot from Neil Robertson.
We were talking about the standards in general, and particularly this week. You always look to nearly play one chance snooker, but there's a fine line
6.
where Ding was in that position.
7.
There's only a chance maybe to try and get control of the frame rather than make a break off it, and just feel got the balance wrong.
Didn't hold back there. May have been expelling a bit of the frustration of the previous frame with that shot. Absolutely walloped the pink. In fact, it's a surprise more of the reds didn't move.
Yeah, it didn't have much of an angle from the blue, but still hit it very well. And as you've seen, hit the pink more or less full in the face. He considered himself a bit unfortunate not to be on one red. And again, that's all he'd need, just to be on one red with all the other reds open. So a bit of a let off for Ding there. And again, with those reds open, that's why Neil spend those extra few seconds coming down the table. Where can I leave the white that's going to cause Ding the most problems? And ideally leave the white as close to the cushion as possible.
Neil Robertson 12.
Again, played it very well. Deliberately left him on that side of the table. And as you can see, very close to the cushion. He has left Ding a red. You could very much just call it a tempter. It's nearly the kind of shot you want your opponent to get. Chance of him potting it and getting on something very slim. He does go for it. He must make. More than likely, he's just going to play a little dump shot. Try and leave the white around about the jaws of this corner pocket. Again, he's in trouble here, just has to try and find some shot. So on Neil's next shot, he doesn't pot. As simple as that. Tennis match terms, just get the ball back over the net.
We saw a graphic here on Eurosport earlier this week pitting Barry Hawkins against Rafael Nadal in Miami. I think Barry would have been spreading himself a bit thin to be making a dual assault on this title. And
was it on clay?
No, hard court. I don't think that would have made a lot of difference, to be honest.
We don't know how good Barry is at tennis, of course. Very unusual for Ding to take this long on a shot, which just shows the problem he's in. It again shows the importance of those few seconds that Neil took on that shot. Would have been very easy to spin down and play a safety shot, but he wanted to play the safety shot. As I said probably a couple of minutes ago, just play a dump shot and try and leave the white mortise in the jaws of the corner pocket. Even if you're going off, wouldn't be the end of the world. Yeah, that's as mortise as much as he could do. If Neil was to pot something and make a break, well, good luck to him. There's no more you can do there.
I think patience is the key at the moment for Ding. He's just about hanging on in there in this match, having won that 5th frame. He's not played anywhere near as well as he's been doing. A lot of that is to do with how well Robertson's played. It's like an airport terminal out there at the moment. There's so many phones going off and all sorts happening. Never ideal from the players' point of view, with maximum concentration required. A lot at stake, of course, this weekend for both players. Ding hasn't won a ranking title since the end of 2019. Robertson hasn't won one for a couple of years. This is his first semi-final since the English Open in 2022.
Again, another good safety shot there from Neil. Ding does have the possibility of the red that's second away from the corner pocket. He could glance it and get back up the table, but certainly by no means easy. Yeah, that red was always more difficult to try and get safe off. It was closer to the cushion. Just came across to look that potting this red, is there a gap you can get across the other side of the table? Maybe disturb some of the reds, somehow get on the pink.
What?
Yeah, good putt, but nothing was guaranteed. Does potentially have a shot on the pink into the middle, but the pace he'd have to play it. Definitely leaving a choice of reds. Yeah, coming down the end of the table, I think that's the right choice. He has the advantage in this safety battle. Try and play another good telling safety. Try and create a better chance. Fine line between positive and also being patient. For Ding, he's just trying to weather the storm here. Chance to play this red here and he'll go on to the other red, get back down the table.
A fluke. Ding holding his hand up.
Green ball.
Yeah, cut it obviously too thick, but more really for Neil. Looks like he's a natural angle just to roll this in.
He's actually overdone it by quite a margin.
4.
Everything feels like a bit of a struggle today for Ding Junhui in the way that it certainly hasn't been on his way to the last 4. But this is where patience is important. He's not playing in the way he wants to right now. He's been outplayed by and large, but he's still in the match, very much so. Got to try and ride out this difficult spell and back himself that champagne snooker will return at the sharp end of this contest. Referee Zhang Weibo is going to be hoarse at the end of this, continuing to lecture the fans on their mobile phones and their failure to turn them off.
Yeah, the scrappiest frame of the match so far. Again, just proves the significance of when the black's not on its spot and available. It's more difficult to break build. A clever little shot from Ding there. Just nudge the black into play. Hasn't gained much of an advantage, but whichever player puts the next red and gets a chance, it's a lot more appealing with that black in the play. Nice putt from Neil there, but you can just see there. Can he run that through, avoid the brown? Probably can't get too close to the red. Probably have to leave something from mid-range, but again, he's such a good putter. And doesn't look too appealing to get on any of those reds. And a sign of his confidence in himself and his game that he's left himself this red.
3.
By no means a certainty, but backs himself to putt it.
Usually a player's long game is a barometer of where their game is at generally, and Robertson has looked very good in that department today. But this mid-range red, just overcut. Maybe still thinking a bit about the previous frame when he really had Ding where he wanted him before missing the red to the right centre.
Good example there of Ding, when he's playing above centre, how parallel he keeps the cue. Cued it beautifully.
4.
Ends up in between two reds there. Again, not just the pot, but also the positional side, a lot more difficult now. Yeah, the new cloth definitely helped there, sliding in off that jaw.
Junhui 5.
Still not quite happening for Ding, though.
Fixed firmly on the object ball when he struck the cue. Things the same as he's playing the shot. His eyes are on the object ball. Neil attempting that shot to nothing has left Ding this red. So require a good bit of cueing from Ding. Yes, struck it well. Of course, it was made slightly more easy by the fact that you could just pot and get down the table. The green was waiting. And he has been patient, battling away.
Just the one break of substance so far, and that was the 64 he made in the first frame after Robertson overcut the red to the left corner. Of course, he was able to make a frame clinching break in the previous frame after Robertson to the right centre after he'd missed the pink. But this is developing into a chance to restore parity in this semi-final, and what a result that would be for Ding, who hasn't really fired yet. But there's nothing safe.
Really goes against Ding's nature to play for an area and leave himself options. Seems far more comfortable being precise.
Yeah, that was a better shot than it looked. Whenever you're queuing down like that, makes the pot that bit trickier and indeed missable, but it's gone in resoundingly. Every shot being applauded here. Ding's many fans willing him to tie this up at 3-all and make it a best-of-5 frame match from here for a place in the final.
Yeah,
the cue balls had to travel a good bit, far more than usual for Ding. But now he finally has them where he wants them. Going to be delighted if he can get it back to 3-all. That flow and rhythm that is gone. Frames have become a little bit more scrappy, disjointed.
I wonder if we'll look back on that moment in the previous frame when Robertson missed the red to the right centre and clearly felt he'd been distracted in playing it. That's a major turning point because he was well on top at that stage, poised for 4-1 it seemed. Time will tell, but it's a chance for Ding to get himself right back in contention.
One.
This break has been hard work though, hasn't it? Blood, sweat and tears, and it's not getting any easier.
Yeah, after he played the previous red, there's a look of disgust on his face that he wasn't perfect on the black. Very rarely you see him on the black having to go in and out of balk, but
big shot this. Yeah, very well done. He's retrieved the situation very nicely there after getting the unintended cannon. .29 the lead.
36.
So just this red and a black. And Robertson will be at the snooker's required stage, and Ding will be highly delighted with the scoreline, not with the way he's played, but the fact that he's now right back in the match.
.44.
Well, that certainly ends the argument in this frame. It's been quite a scrappy affair, at least initially, but Ding has taken these well. He's had to really graft for this break, which is not something you associate with him, but crucially, he's kept it going when it might have broken down.
48.
And he's been rewarded. And Neil Robertson's
60.
seemingly ever-tightening grip on this match has been well and truly loosened in the last couple of frames. And suddenly the game's easy again.
$62.
Excellent. Really good from Ding. His best snooker of the match, his highest break of this semi-final, a 75 clearance. And he's right back in the picture now, from 3-1 behind to 3 frames all. Back to square one for Neil Robertson, who was well in charge at 3-1 with a chance to make it 4-1, but now pegged back to 3-all. Judd Trump to play the winner in the World Open final on Sunday after his 6-2 win over Jackson Page earlier. Well, that was a timely intervention from Ding. Not just the fact that he won the frame, but winning it with a really convincing break. And he had to work hard for it in a way that he doesn't normally, because, as we know, his cue ball ordinarily immaculate, but it wasn't a straightforward break by any means. He executed it nonetheless.
Yeah, it didn't cue that well. Lost his timing on it. When he has to run through or play a shot to nothing, generally plays them very well, but when it requires a little bit of power, can lose his timing sometimes, Ding. He'll just trying to work out and putting this red, what sort of cannon he's going to get from the red, make sure he gets on the black.
Not for the first time, though. Robertson overcutting a red. This time it's the right corner. He's missed a couple into the left in that sort of fashion. Maybe just a little rattled now after losing the last 2 frames from a position of strength in this match. There's definitely a different feel about it.
Absolutely, yeah. And definitely since he missed that red in the middle that we've highlighted, his concentration's definitely been affected. Also appears to be a little bit more annoyed, a little bit more aware of when the constant mobile phone's going off. They were going off at the start of the match, but he didn't seem to notice them so much. But it's telling now that he's under a bit of pressure. It's becoming a bigger deal. And he will be frustrated because he knew 4-1 up. Match was in his hands. He's let Ding back in.
9.
Not only does he let Ding back in to the match, but also this frame, and he's in this area where he excels.
And fresh from that 75 break just now as well, so well and truly in stroke now. Having not really had that many decent chances before the interval, aside from the frame he won.
60.
He was largely frozen out thereafter. But there's definitely a different vibe about this semi-final now.
$24. $25. 32.
Usual for Ding to be this close to the side cushion, compiling a break. Again, controlled it very well. Again, perfect position on the black, parallel. Kind of like to go into that cluster of 4. But if he screws back off them, you feel sure it'll be on one of them or even one of the other 4 to the right of that cluster. Maybe a little bit disappointed he's not able to continue going for blacks, but priority has to be winning the frame here.
Made a maximum, of course, at the Masters against O'Sullivan to become the first player to win 2 in that tournament. But there's a different look about Ding suddenly, isn't there? There's a spring back in his step. He's looked a little out of sorts in his chair for a lot of this match, but now at the table doing some damage, changing the narrative of this match with every passing pot.
Yeah, his demeanour far more like it has been the whole week. And he's responded well. Was led off the hook by that miss by Neil, but since then he's battled well, just stayed in the match. Now there's a chance and should take the lead again. Again, important for Neil now.
51.
In that chair. Try and get his thoughts positive.
Yeah, that was never in. That was never in. And he's cross about it. You could see from Ding's expression. That's an opportunity missed by him this time at 51. Not enough. Missed the pink into that corner, which looked likely to be very costly in the 5th frame. It proved not to be. How expensive will that mistake be in this one? Well, that's not the cannon Robertson wanted. So things going a little awry now for the Australian.
And that's what I mentioned when he was in the chair. Best he can try and forget what's went on. We hard sometimes when your opponent's in amongst them to keep your concentration. You can just naturally assume that they're going to clear up, but you always have to expect they're going to miss. So if they do miss, you're ready mentally for the chance. And he's just definitely gone a little bit out of sorts. Also seems to be struggling a bit tonight with, must be a bit more damp or humid. Seems to be wiping his hands constantly when he's in the chair.
Yeah, Robertson, 1.
Can also affect when you're cueing. It just feels like you're not going to cue as smooth. Just a little bit off-putting.
Ding's safety hasn't been the best today. He may have covered the potting angle on this red. He's held his hand up to suggest that he has done. Must be very tight. There's a lot riding on this for both players. They've both been out of the winner's enclosure in ranking tournaments for way longer than you'd expect. For Robertson, he can completely turn his season around in the next couple of days. Well, there was enough sticking out for him to pot it.
1.
Will the pink pass the red? It will. Awkward queuing. So, a chance of a counter-attack for Robertson.
7.
43 adrift, but plenty of points there.
Eight. A
little bit of an angle here on this red. Try and pot it and get out. Get as close as you can to the pink.
Fourteen.
Looking to just hold the white close to the pink spot beyond the red, bottom of the 3. They managed to do that. I think both of those reds go to the right middle.
20.
So you kind of feel going to build up to. Again, just kind of double check whether it's a touching ball or not.
Foul. Yeah. Then Junhui 4.
Well, Robertson checked to see if it was touching, and I think he actually did end up hitting that red.
Yeah, exactly. And proved important. That's what he's afraid of. You could see he was trying to really dig down and try and change the path of the white so he wouldn't catch the red. He still did. And another massive moment. So it looked like he was definitely going to pot those 3 reds, colours, and come down to the last red close to the middle. As it turns out, a great chance for Ding.
.41 the lead, so just this red and a high value colour. In fact, any colour Robertson would need a snooker. Oh, wasn't clean. It thumped into that near jaw, but it dropped.
Yeah, again, I think the new cloth helped. Just about slid in.
Quite a turnaround in this semi-final. Neil Robertson was 3-1 up. He was looking good for 4-1. He missed a red to the right centre. Clearly felt he was distracted by some movement.
14.
Or some noise in missing it. Either way, it's definitely turned this semi-final on its head, because Ding has won 3 in a row. And he'd been really struggling at that point. He's missed the green, but it's surely not going to be expensive. Robertson's going to come back, 48 behind with 35 on. But it's getting ever more tense now, this match, as we head towards the business end of proceedings. And Robertson, having not got the snooker, has conceded. So 3 in a row for Ding Junhui. And from 3-1 behind, he leads 4-3. 3-1 behind, now 4-3 in front. The home favourite, Ding Junhui, breaking off in frame 8. 6, the target for a place in the final to play Judd Trump over the best of 19 frames tomorrow. £170,000. And the points that goes with it. And they would take Neil Robertson, were he to lift the trophy, into the top 12 on the one-year list and into the top 16 in the race to the Crucible. So it's a massive weekend for him. Remember, if Robertson doesn't win today, or indeed if he does and then goes on to lose against Trump in the final, he'll be playing a couple of qualifiers to get to the Crucible in Sheffield. But if he does win the trophy, well, he'll have the chance to win the Tour Championship again, which is coming up in just over a week in Manchester. For the top 12 this season, Ding already there, whatever happens today. Not for the first time, though. Ding not getting his safety in the way he wanted to.
Yeah, similar to a couple of frames ago. That kind of thin shot to nothing. He's playing it more as a pot, an opportunity rather than a shot to nothing. Again, cut it too thin. As a result, the white's come back down the table. It's not easy, but you still would expect Neil to pot this. Since that missed red into the middle, everything has appeared to be hard work for Neil here. The whole momentum has changed.
Right now, this match has definitely turned on that one shot, hasn't it? The misread into the right centre in frame 5. Doesn't mean that it won't change again, but right now, it's Ding who seems to be holding the cards.
Wow.
And it's not necessarily that Ding has played exceptional stuff to take the game away from Neil. Neil has had chances. He's missed a few easy ones. Lost control of the white. And also running out of time. And now, of course, if Ding could win this frame, particularly one visit, he's in big trouble.
7.
I think inevitably there's extra pressure on Robertson's shoulders given the implications of victory today for him for the rest of the season. So now he's behind. Pressure really is cranked up, but of course there's pressure on Ding as well, not only to perform in front of his fans. He's spent an entire career carrying that pressure, but also it's been a long time for him since he was in the winner's enclosure as a ranking titleist. A very long time, too long. Someone of his ability, over 4 years, well over.
15.
But he's looking a whole lot more comfortable now than he was
22.
at the start of frame 5 when he missed that pink.
Just sort of pace down the blue. got the option of trying to go around the angles or could just roll it in.
Not for the first time today catching the brown. It's not comfortable territory, is it, for Ding? He's not a Judd Trump in that way, happy to go in and out of baulk with huge amounts of cue power. That's not his game. So he's left himself a tester here, close to the side cushion. Yeah, it wasn't easy by any means.
Yeah, you actually find.
Oh, hang on. Whoa.
You actually find it a lot of great long putters are great long putters because they have to be.
So the lead just 28.
What?
Robertson looking to make a mess of this bunch of reds. We'll settle for that.
Yeah, great shot. Wasn't made any easier by the referee saying, shh, just as you're about to deliver the cue. I think that was worse than any disturbance of the mobile phone, but.
Seven.
Particularly what went on earlier on in the match, he did very well there not to react. And he has to regain his focus. Can't control what the crowd are doing. Of course, on a good day when your concentration is excellent and you're playing well, you don't even hear the phones go off.
14.
Generally plays the shot very well. He's coming off the cushion, a lot of top and left hand side to disturb them. Yeah, didn't get enough side.
22.
Side and less pace would have been better. Hitting it so hard. The white ball didn't have time to arc and get into the pack. Again, just that level of frustration continuing.
Near Robertson, 22.
It's a huge frame, of course. The difference between 4 each and Ding being 2 up with 3 to play, which would put him very much in control. Their last meeting was over the best of 11 this season at the Shanghai Masters. It went the distance. Neil Robertson victorious 6-5. One of 4 consecutive wins over Ding, who hasn't tasted victory over Robertson since the final here in China a decade ago. The title, of course, the China Open that he won as a teenage wild card to announce himself as a major new talent from Asia, when he beat Stephen Hendry, still only 18 at the time. That's pretty unfriendly. Didn't quite nestle up to the brown. Just looking to see if he's got the snooker. But with a red spread, if he has, it's awkward for Ding. Oh, goodness.
He was
Foul miss.
trying to come up and down and glance the red
Robertson,
and
4.
bulk end of the table.
He's been pretty lucky there. If he's not left anything, it's going back, but it seemed almost certain that he would leave something there for Robertson.
Just hoping to hit that red And more importantly, if he hits, get it safe.
Whoever gets in next is going to have a gilt-edged chance to win the frame, that's for sure. Very much advantage Robertson right now.
Yeah, Ding just showing the referee
I think he's inviting.
exactly where he could hit on the cushion. Because the first time he played, he didn't play with any side. Didn't need to. Just trying to judge it off.
Just wanted his opponent to confirm he was happy with where the cue ball's gone back to.
Yeah, he'll settle for that, I think. Has left a red. Might just be tempted instead to play safety. Not just a safety, get a snooker again.
Well, is that a blunder? I think it is from Neil Robertson. Getting the cue ball behind the brown, yes, but has he left this red to the centre pocket? It's not easy, clearly, but it's an opportunity that Ding shouldn't have had.
Yeah, you feel he should have the white not only closer to the brown, but certainly that red should have been nowhere near in play.
Well, this is a huge shot now in this match. This goes in, Ding could be in business. He misses it, could cost him the frame. And he's overcut it, and he's gone into the reds. Big moment. Wasn't easy.
Yeah, neither player's played terrible today, but it's definitely the worst they've played all week. That's just adding to the excitement and intrigue.
One.
And I think also reflective of what's on the line. Ding has obviously had a better season than Neil Robertson, but when you consider he's not been a ranking champion since 2019, that's something he wants to rectify as quickly as possible. And for Neil Robertson, well, we know his problems this season in particular have been well documented, but he's looking to put that right, which he can do with 2 further victories. And arrive at the Crucible, where he would be a seed if he lifts the title in great shape again, feeling terrific about his game. So, all kinds of reasons.
Eight. $14. $15. $21.
The next 2 reds you feel are formality.
22.
Whoever he's down to the last 3 reds, he will need one good positional shot to develop them.
28.
It's hard to know, is there a place he can leave the white that he could pot one of them? Maybe if he left the white somewhere. But would prefer to play a cannon on them.
$29.
Again, he's a slight angle on the blue. He could stun run through. Yeah, that's he's just looking. He stuns run through. Can he leave the white in position? He can play that red that's closest to the right corner. Didn't have that angle to then had to try and make something happen.
34.
It's only by Neil's reaction we'll know whether or not he is. That was a good sign.
35.
Where the cue ball is another question. We'll find out eventually. There it is. 33 in front. So this is the one ball that he needs, and Neil Robertson again
42.
trying to remind the spectators to stay still on the shot.
Yeah, thank God he potted that black. You can imagine his reaction if he'd missed, and particularly more so than noise. If somebody is in your eye line as you're playing, the slightest little movement, even of a finger, can literally distract you, and you literally, your eye gets thrown to them and off the ball you're trying to pot. Good break here, and an important break to settle himself back into the match.
Yep, this red to make it 4-all. Ding had an early chance in this one.
43.
And then got a further opportunity after Robertson failed to get the snooker behind the brown. It was a tough red. Had he potted it, he could well have been looking at a 5-3 scoreline. As it is, we're going to be level again. And this
50.
match living up to its billing, certainly for drama and tension.
51.
All sorts of momentum shifts, and this time it's moved in favour of Robertson. 1-0 behind, 3-1 up, 4-3 behind, and now level again.
55.
Yeah, in some ways the match is better because the standard hasn't been as good.
55 and 20.
And again, he's clearly unhappy, Robertson, at the movement on the shots, but he'll be happy enough to be level. That's the most important thing for him. So it's still anyone's match, this second semi-final at the World Open. Judd Trump waiting to see who he will play. It's 4 frames all. So 4 each in the second World Open semi-final here in Yushan, but away from the snooker. Of course, the Tour of Catalonia is coming towards its climax. It's stage 6 today. And of course, there's live coverage, as there has been, from the off at the beginning of this week all the way through to the climax tomorrow. Tour of Catalonia continuing live right now on Eurosport 2 and across our digital platforms, of course. So Ding Junhui 4, Neil Robertson 4, all to play for. It's now a best of 3 for a place in the final in a meeting with Judd Trump, who earlier got the better of Jackson Page 6-2 to book his place in his 8th major final this season. That is some achievement, isn't it, Fergal, by Judd Trump?
Yeah, phenomenal achievement. That level of consistency. And certainly over the years, he's developed that all-round game. And we've seen it this season more than others. Even when he's not at his best, he can still win and win consistently. Maybe the early part of his career when he was at very best.
Is the target.
It'll be interesting after the match to hear from Neil that the disturbances of the crowd, particularly that one in the 5th frame, what effect it had. Of course, if he loses, he mightn't be too keen to talk. But it definitely just seems to be on that side of the table is where the main disturbance is happening.
Well, as you say, I think the movement more debilitating than the mobile phones, which have been plentiful today. And again, accusing looks from Neil Robertson in that direction, debilitating than the mobile phones, which have been plentiful today. And again, accusing looks from Neil Robertson in that direction that Fergal was talking about. There's only so many times you can tell someone.
Yeah, if it's that consistent from the same side, then you fear it might be deliberate. If that's the case, then that person would have to be removed. He said, how many times do you need to be told? The problem with it is, even if they're not moving, you become very aware and you're nearly trying to predict that they'll move. Again, having said all that, it was a very good pot. Again, maybe the tide has turned in his... Yeah, you can hear him saying, what is going on?
Well, the point is that, yeah, eventually warnings have to become actual action. If whoever's responsible refuses to play ball, then they'll have to depart the arena. It's that simple, really. The warnings have been numerous. In the meantime, though, it's a very decent chance. Yes, the black's currently tied up, but red's open for Robertson to reassume control of this match. It's been pretty topsy-turvy. 1-0 down, 3-1 up, 4-3 down. Now hoping to move 5-4 in front.
Six.
If at all possible, he'd love to be able to pot that red that's to the left of the black and red. Potting it, he could bring the black into play. In the meantime, though, there is enough open reds to keep him occupied. Again, just an anxious look to see where the pink will go. At the bottom of the pack. And again, more importantly, will he be able to pot it? And again, if it is pottable, he leaves himself low on the pink. Then just in potting the pink, he's naturally going to open up the reds. And would need the black. And the fact that it won't be touching, it will be potable. He's just going to make sure
12.
it's not touching.
Sorting.
Yeah, it looks to be quite straight in the pink. Not sure he has that angle. Yeah, he's actually the wrong side of the pink there, so might be plan B and try and bring the black into play. Again, this time putting the red to the right corner. Can he hold the white? Leave that same angle on the pink.
19. $20. $26.
Yeah, couldn't help but bring a few reds into play, playing it that way.
$27.
Again, a good shot there. Not so much the pot on the red, but getting it up the table and getting the angle on the blue. Just having a look, might be tempted and potting the blue to play. Cannon into the pink and 3 reds. Yeah, worked it out well and played it very well.
32.
He's worked hard for this. But this is a great chance to re-establish that lead. Definitely appears to have regained his composure and focus.
And maybe the distractions which have clearly frustrated him have actually got him with a terrific long-range red. And looks back to the player who was threatening to take control when he led 3-1 and had the chance for 4-1.
To 8. To 9.
Made 68 in the second frame. That sparkling 118 clearance in the fourth, and then 55 in the eighth.
45. $46.
Even for these great players and proven winners, it's still very unusual that you're going to go throughout the whole tournament and not have a close match or a scrappy match. And this is the match for both of these players. Doesn't matter how you win, just get into the final. Of course, in the final, you can always play a lot better.
52.
Just want to give yourself that opportunity.
53.
And whoever wins, playing Judd Trump over the 2 sessions. Another fantastic prospect. Player who's
59.
scraped through the semi-final, not played as well. Come the final, plays their best stuff.
60.
And just straight on the blue there, so could pot this blue and potentially leave himself 3 reds. He's just having a look, which is the most appealing. Ideally one where he wouldn't have to use the rest. Just had a little bit of an angle. He was able to force it there. Got very close to this red. And again, this has been an
65.
excellent break, considering what has gone on and off the table the last hour or so.
Only 59 left, so it's definitely going to be back-to-back frames for Neil Robertson.
$70. $71.
Whatever happens for the remainder of this match, there's no question that Robertson is coming back into form, looking much more like his old self after what has been a very difficult season for him.
77.
Maybe that break back home in Melbourne over Christmas was just the tonic required.
$85. $86.
So can he promote that last awkward red to stay on track for what would be a 9th century of the tournament for him? He's dropping in behind it, or trying to. A little bit short the pace.
That is
But
true.
as a lefty, he can still just about reach it, maybe. Never in doubt. Hug the cushion. Very nicely done. Superb break this. It started with Robertson showing his displeasure at repeated movement
101.
on the right-hand side of the arena as we look, but it hasn't in any way distracted him from the business required in this frame. It's been a superb break.
Yeah, particularly as black was tied up. Pink was
103.
tied up for part of it. Worked very hard. Certainly, once he got the balls
6.
somewhat open, he's picked up his pace, his tempo. That rhythm, fluency that he had at the start of the match is back.
110.
Again, you feel it's crucial for Ding that he gets first chance in the next frame. Wouldn't be surprised if Neil gets first good chance, wins the frame and match from it.
15.
Well, this has been outstanding from Robertson, his second of the semi-final, and a great time to produce it.
121.
And he's looking confident again. Lots of pressure out there, lots at stake, but you wouldn't think so, given the way he stroked them around the table in this frame. A superb century clearance from Neil Robertson once again to put him on the cusp of the final. He leads 5-4. A big roar for Ding Junhui as he breaks off in frame 10 in his bid to take this match to a deciding frame. 5-4 down after a second century from Neil Robertson, a superb break of 128. Robertson bidding for his 5th consecutive win over Ding. His first ranking final appearance since he won the Tour Championship in extraordinary fashion a couple of seasons ago when he came from 5 down with 6 to play to beat John Higgins. Who would have guessed at the time that he wouldn't add to that tally between then and now? Never mind that his crucible place would be in jeopardy, but those things remain the case.
Yeah, nearly 18 months since he's had a quarter-final appearance before this tournament, which is, again, remarkable. Certainly recently has been saying all the right things, trying to take more responsibility during the first part of the season. Yeah, a lot of players played well or very well against him, but maybe his focus and application hadn't been as good as it could have been. But certainly since he's come back from Australia, he's been working a lot harder, trying to leave no stone unturned. And maybe he's timed his run to the crucible to perfection.
Yeah, he didn't hit that as he intended, and that's why he cannoned into the blue, but apologise for not leaving anything for ding.
Caught that a little bit thicker than he wanted. Result, he's pushed that red close to the left corner. Ding just coming down to see and putting it. What path the white ball will take. If he plays it slow enough, he could come through and beyond the black into the opposite corner, but still hard to judge. Might be tempted to play with more pace, try and make something happen at the pack. The end played with a trace of left-hand side to avoid the reds as much as he could, and a nice little glance there to play.
He's been very reliable with the rest this week, Ding Junhui, but now the pressure at its most extreme, the point of no return. He knows that Robertson will be ready to pounce on any error from here. No, he's overcut it. Didn't think much of it either.
Yeah, it didn't cue that well. Again, there was pressure on it. Neil. Has this opportunity. play. Hasn't been in this position for a while. I think had a little bit of an impact. When he pot the green, because he was perfect on a choice of reds, I think he's seen the winning post and just assumed he was going to win it from there. And as a result, the very next shot, instead of being perfect on the black, had to come off the cushion, glance the red, and made that red missable. But the mistake wasn't that he missed that red when he was hampered. The mistake was that red should have been unmissable. Maybe he just got ahead of himself a fraction.
And you're playing that shot with the disappointment of knowing it should have been routine, which probably adds to its difficulty. Anyway, it's a reprieve that Ding might not have expected to get when he missed the pink with the rest early in this frame. But there's plenty of pressure on his shoulders now to deliver a decider. It really has been a gripping match, not always at the highest caliber in terms of the big breaks, although, of course, we have had 2 centuries from Robertson. But in terms of the twists and the turns and the shifts in momentum, it's been fantastic entertainment. And from a neutral's point of view, a deciding frame would feel fitting. Robertson would beg to differ.
Yeah, I think if Neil had got perfect on the black, they'd probably be shaking hands now.
22. '23.
Played that well.
The
bottom red of the 4 obviously goes to the left corner. I'm not sure the one above it does. Be a big help if it does. And he's just come down. Looks like he's going to play.
Well, you could see the disappointment in Ding's face. That's gone wrong. Just 2 points in front, 59 left. Does the red go? Even if it does, it's difficult.
Yeah, I think he's just enough. We'll put, I think, a bit on the thick side.
Good cueing required, though, at this stage. This has got to be one of the noisier arenas. You can understand the excitement of the crowd, though. Ding passes that little test.
Yeah, and you can just see him there queuing up where he'd like the white to be, to play this red into the middle. And if he's got the perfect angle, he can pot it. Yeah, it looks natural now just to pot this into the middle and just disturb
45.
these two.
And now the frame at his mercy. Neil Robertson was in, and the way he'd been queuing, superb century clearance in the previous frame. You backed him. And he's taken these well. There is extreme pressure out there.
60.
Yeah, we felt it was a good chance, but even still, to be able to do it when you have to under
61.
great character, great temperament.
So this black, and we're going all the way. Listen to that roar. Well, he's overcooked that one by a margin. I guess there was some extra adrenaline in that black.
大家保持安静。
Yeah, he seemed to take an extra second or two, feathering up to the white. Knew the importance of it. As a result, overhit it. You just want to hit this yellow. Even if he does hit it,
请看台的观
leaving
众
two
保持安
snookers,
静。
still expect Neil to come back.
Yeah, care required. 33 the lead, 27 left. Just important that he hits this yellow, which he's done. So Robertson needs a couple of snookers, otherwise we're going the distance. Very nice. That's exactly where you want to be when it's your opponent who needs the snookers. Very good hit. Yes, there have been too many mobile phones and too much movement on shots at times. But you have to say the crowd have really contributed to a great week of snooker here in Yushan. Delighted, of course, to have this tournament back for the first time since 2019. And they really have been engaged from the very first ball. We've had big crowds all week, and they've loved every minute of it.
Definitely made a big difference this season. The tournaments in China, the crowd are a lot closer to the table, which has just added to the atmosphere and sense of occasion. Certainly this week and this evening, really enjoying it. And you just imagine the atmosphere now in the deciding frame. Interesting in the deciding frame, if Neil does get a chance, will he be able to take it? Definitely be frustrated. He didn't win the match in that last frame. The opportunity he had, I feel he just nodded off for a second. And it cost him. Seems to always cost you when you're struggling a bit for a result or It's an important match. Again, 19 out of 20 times. From where he was in the black, he would have got perfect on the next red, but sod's law wasn't ideal, and he did miss. But again, he's got to forget about that now. Might be tempted to try and pot green, brown and blue. Then you only need one snooker in the pink. Probably only going to get one good opportunity to get a snooker that way, though.
Five.
But I always feel with the black on its spot, players are so used to manoeuvring the white ball behind it. I think it's worth the gamble. It's unlikely Ding's twice not going to get out of snooker.
Well, that's clearly the plan. Get the one snooker on the pink to have the chance to force a respotted black.
Yeah, if you could be somewhere straight on the pink into the middle, then you can push the pink up the table and get the white behind the black. But you feel probably only get one chance at it. Probably has to get the snooker first go.
50. Sorry, 40.
So the all-important shot. Just a little shorter pace. So Ding will look to just nurse this to the pocket.
Yeah, could have played that better. I think he'll be able to keep it away from there, keep it in play.
Well, perhaps it was inevitable, given the number of twists and turns in this semi-final, that we were going to have a deciding frame. Yushan in our second World Open semi-final. What a match, what a tussle it's been between Ding Junhui and Neil Robertson. Times seemingly in the ascendancy, only to see the other player fight back. Tremendous entertainment. The crowd have certainly been engaged. At times they've been a bit fidgety. The mobile phones have been going off in all directions, but it's been a great match, a great occasion. And we're in for a grandstand finish. One frame to determine who will play Judd Trump for the World Open title. Neil Robertson wiping some sweat from his hands, and this certainly is sweaty business now. Lots of pressure on both of these players, and once again the poor old referee Zhang Weibo almost pleading with the audience to keep still and keep quiet. Good luck with that. Neil Robertson to break. And a red coming up the table, but a good cue ball. Of course, their most recent meeting was this season in the Shanghai Masters. It went the distance over this best-of-11 frame format, and it was Robertson who came out on top.
Neil breaking off, caught them a little bit thicker than he wanted. That's why that red came up past the blue, but obviously it's blocked with the brown. Ding wasn't prepared to risk his safety back down the balk area with that red there. That's why he's just going to try and nestle into the pack. And I think the right shot, no point at this stage, taking a gamble. Trying to maintain his advantage. Again, back in trouble. Yeah, poor shot there from Neil. Should have made sure he didn't hit any of the ball colours. And I thought maybe that contact on the green had left the red to left corner.
Yes, that was a bit of a let-off, actually, for Robertson, wasn't it? Could easily have left that red to the left corner, given Ding a chance early in this decider.
Yeah, but the fact that Ding had his hand on the table, looked like he was able to play a good safety. Coming down, yeah, there's potential couple of reds. I think he could try and pot to the left corner, but a lot of pressure on them. Position of play not guaranteed at all. But if he thinks the safety is just as difficult, he'll just back himself, back his cue action, and try and pot his way out of trouble.
His long game, by and large, today has been very good, but of course, these shots are so much tougher now in a decider with so much at stake. But that is a resounding pot, and he's pushed the black towards the corner.
Yeah, slight grimace on his face there. I think he's enough of the white that he's not going to be hampered. Can we see in the last frame he's slightly hampered, he missed, but this looks okay. Far easier said than done under this pressure.
Set is 3.
And I'm not sure if the red at the bottom of the pack goes to the left corner. I feel if it does go, he might have already played on it, or would certainly play for it now. I only assume it doesn't go. He's just seen where he'd like to leave the white as a left-hander. Doesn't want to leave the white in a position that he has to use the rest.
Set 8. Set to 9.
Getting a good pot there. Doesn't want to be straight on the black. Would love an angle to stun up to the left-hand side of the table, where those 3 reds are. Potentially that red at the bottom of the pack, you could play into the middle pocket.
Ding
46.
sitting and hoping for a chance, and of course mentally he's got to be prepared in case something goes awry. And it's been that sort of match where just when you think a certain course of action is unfolding, something happens to change it.
47.
And every one of these pots carrying Neil Robertson ever closer to his first ranking final in 2 years.
Yeah, it never looked likely that he could generate enough power or angle to disturb them. I thought he would have been better just potting the pink and screwing back, leave
53.
red and to the left corner, but do well to pot this and not feather the white. They look very close together and straight. No point really taking a risk here. Very good telling safety. Hope he gets another chance to finish it off. However, it's a big sense of relief for Ding. He would have feared the worst. Again, but it's always the way. Neil slightly out of the winning habit. Never seems to come easy. Not sure I'm playing the safety. He can get a red safe. Just has to settle for a good white.
Wake up, Ding. There's a match to be won here. And it looks as though he's going to get another opportunity anyway. Robertson taking his time to decide on what to do next, having lost position.
Robertson 53.
Yeah, I think he said it's touching the one on the right.
Touching ball. He said touching ball? He says touching ball. This one. Yeah, this one is touching ball.
Robertson just querying whether it is touching ball. Certainly looks like it is from that angle.
Again, if it's touching ball, it is an advantage. Thinking put it exactly where he wants. Not sure he's the angle would have been touching to get it off the cushion behind the green. I think he's having a look at now. Yeah, he didn't have the natural angle if he rolled it. That's why he was trying to dig into the white to try and force an angle.
Good cue ball.
Yeah, he played that with strong left-hand side to swing it around. Try and leave the white on that side of the table. Again, Ding would love to find a gap between yellow, blue and pink to somehow clip that red to the right of the black. I think if he had that option. He'd have played it by now. Failing that, he's in a bit of trouble. Again, can't play any sort of dump shot with that red beside the black. Again, he's just got to take the time, try and find some shot.
Left with a containing safety.
It's actually a very good shot. While you're hoping in that situation you don't leave Neil a pot. Seen there's potential of a plant past the pink. It's very risky though. I think just had to find a shot to stay in the... Obviously Neil is the advantage. There's no point trying to do something too risky. Just hoping that Neil doesn't play a great safety shot, he can turn the tide.
Again, very good finding that court cushion. I definitely think Robertson's safety has been the stronger of the two today. And he's outscored Ding fairly handsomely as well. 118, 128, 68 and 55 as against 64, 68, 75 and 51 for Ding.
Ding came down just to have a look, playing this red, catching it thin. What contact will he get on the red beside the pink? The possibility he could make it as a plant. A good white is priority.
Oh dear.
It could have been worse. Again, I think he put a little bit too much emphasis on trying to make the plant. Said his priority was to try and get a good white, keep it safe. Having said it, it's not easy for Neil. If he goes for this red, I feel he's going to have to get it.
Big shot if he's taking it on. He has, and he's got it. That was a confident shot by Robertson because he knew he was leaving Ding in with a counter if he missed. So one good positional shot here from yellow to his next red. Could be the beginning of the end for Ding Junhui's hopes. Been a fantastic match. Can't take your eyes off it. So much happening in every frame, really.
请大家保持安静。
But there's still hope for Ding.
Yeah, you could sense the importance of that shot. But more importantly, Neil sensed the importance of that shot.
So much pressure out there. Robertson was right on the cusp. Just a few pots away. Now what can Ding do with this counter? Played that very nicely, well controlled. So a chance to, at the very least, get right back into this decider. Neil Robertson has twice had opportunities to put this match to bed in the last 2 frames. But as we've already pointed out, of late, not used to being at the sharp end of a big event like this, and with so much riding on it in terms of the rest of his season, pressure is certainly intense.
9.
But it's just as intense on Ding, who's got his own reasons for being desperate to get to the title match and have the chance to add to his ranking title tally of 14, which he hasn't been able to do for more than 4 years since he won his hat-trick of UKs.
16.
Well, you can feel the tension in both players now, understandably. High drama here.
I just felt he brought a bit of extra pressure on himself by his reaction.
Good news is that the cue ball, as you can see, glued to the side cushion. This is a horrible shot that Robertson's looking at here.
Yeah, he'll still be very relieved to have this horrible shot. He would have feared the worst, and if Ding had cleared up from there, it would have been an absolute hammer blow for him with the chance he had in the last frame and 2 chances here. That's just adding to the pressure. Normally Neil throughout his career hasn't succumbed to the pressure, but it's definitely had an impact on him today. As we said, slightly out of the winning habit, the significance of this match.
There's not a safe ball on the table.
Yeah, he's not prepared to play that red to the right corner and just drop it in for 1 point for control. You could miss it.
Should imagine Judd Trump is enjoying this as well. Happy to see these two slog it out to the death ahead of the final tomorrow while he puts his feet up.
Yeah, he'd love to get a red to the side cushion and get a good white. Might be able to get both though.
Thoroughly understandable that Robertson's taking his time again here, because this is obviously absolutely critical juncture of this deciding frame. He's got no insurance in the way of a safe ball. 32 in front, but still 59 on the table.
Yeah, his need to be paramount here in his thinking. Yeah, very rarely, if ever, has Neil taken 3 minutes over a shot, particularly when he's the option of a pot. But I don't think he can get a red inside cushion and the white. That's safe, so That's, I think he's looking for where's the most awkward place he can leave the white, which makes it the safety shot for Ding the hardest. Don't try to be too clever though. Just make sure Ding can't pot a red on his next shot.
Doesn't want to hit the blue. Ooh, just shaved off it. Thicker contact could have been big trouble for Ding. This tournament has been all about the big breaks. We've had 92 centuries, but for drama, this match surely tops the lot so far.
Yeah, all of a sudden, these pockets don't look so generous. Easton missing that red Neil. Red has gone close to the side cushion. Ding straight away trying to play good safety and take it away from the cushion. Yeah, he was quite fortunate there. There was always the danger of that double kiss if he did catch it a bit too thick. And once he got that double kiss, he fully probably expected to leave Neil. But again, sod's law for Neil. Desperate to get over the line. Always seems to be hard work. Again, Neil just feeling the way. Generally, he's been brilliant throughout the years. Under pressure.
He's overcut the red. So, another opportunity for Ding.
Yeah, Neil's just battling with two emotions. The excitement of winning, but also the fear of losing. If he was to lose, this'll hurt. It hurt him bad.
There's a lot of nail chewing in this arena at the moment.
This pink is not nice if he elects to play it.
Oh, goodness me. His heart would have stopped for a millisecond there as that pink did a tour of the pocket before disappearing. But a gutsy shot.
Yeah, it looked easy in the camera angle before he played it, but on its way, it looked like he was going to catch more of that jaw and just stay out. And again, that brand new cloth came to his aid. It was just enough for it to slide in. Yeah, the longest frame of the match, but the best frame.
Well, actually, that 30 minutes has flown by. You just cannot take your eyes off this. Every shot is an event. Every shot is applauded, particularly when Ding's at the table. gradually clawing his way back into this decider.
I'd like to be a little bit straighter on this red.
13.
And just try and make sure pot is back up the table for pink or blue. Yeah, Ding, as is his nature, tried to be precise and play the perfect shot, but I think he'd be better playing for an area as a result. He's not on it for the middle or the corner. Okay, Neil would be very relieved. He would have started to fear the worst. I think for a second thought he was fearful he'd go on too far and snooker himself. Kind of gets first chance to play a telling safety on this red. Can he be looking not just to get the red safe, but to get a snooker? Seems like there's a good lot of balls there he can get cover from.
Junhui 20.
So that run of 20 from Ding shaves Robertson's lead to 12. 35 left in the final frame. Not quite a snooker. And nothing safe. Robertson was up there quickly. He's hit the black. Well, the finals certainly going to have something to live up to after the drama that has been generated in this second semi-final. Shakes of the head from Robertson. He's fearing the worst now. One good shot from Ding here, and the match will be in his hands.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be precise. Just pot it, get down the table. Any ball colour.
Oh, just for a moment, both Ding and Robertson might have been thinking that's going to go wrong, but he's just crept past the black.
Yeah, I don't think he can roll it in and hold position. He's going to have to come off the cushion.
Incredible drama here. The tension is palpable. It's a test of nerve as much as skill from here on in.
Yeah, excellent shot.
Could not have played that any better. 6 behind. Needs up to the pink for victory.
Hey.
And what a victory it would be. A victory that, for quite a lot of this afternoon, looked unlikely. Neil Robertson has outscored Ding Junhui. He's made 2 brilliant centuries. He led 3-1. It could have been 4-1. He then led 5-4 and had a chance to close it out. Mr. Red He's had chances in this one. He hasn't quite been able to apply the finishing touches, and Ding is now 2 pots away from a chance to play for his first ranking title since the 2019 UK Championship. And listen to that roar. What a match this has been. What a finale. And this for a place in the final for Ding Junhui. And in it goes, and that's what it means to him. He might have hurt his knuckles, but he won't care. And well played, Neil Robertson, who warmly congratulates him. Robertson will be sick. He'll also be heading to qualifying for the World Championship. He's out of the Tour Championship, but Ding Junhui is into the World Open final in the most dramatic circumstances. A fantastic match, the best of the week. He wins by 6 frames to 5. He's going to wake up with bruised knuckles, Ding Junhui, as he gets a police escort out of the building. The fans losing their heads, understandably. What an occasion it's been, what a match.